So what I'm doing on this channel is I know nothing about programming and I just go live while I'm learning. So I can give you a real life experience. What should you expect if you want to learn? And maybe your experience is going to be a little bit different, but the main thing is the same, I bet. I hope. And here I just want to give you a decent background about what will you go through if you decided to learn programming. So we will continue with Python, this language, and I found this YouTube course. It's for free. I'm gonna put the link in the description below. It's for freecodecamp.org. So we're gonna continue where we left last time, okay? Let's go.
In this tutorial, I want to talk to you guys about working with strings in Python. Now, one of the most common types of data that we're going to be working with in Python is going to be strings. And strings are basically just plain text. So any text that we want to have inside of our program, we can store inside of a string. So I want to talk to you guys about all the cool things we can do with strings, and we're basically just going to get a full introduction into why strings are awesome. So over here, I'm just going to actually print out a string. So I'm just going to say print, and inside of these parentheses, I can type out a string. In order to create a string, I need to use quotation marks. So I can make an open and close quotation marks, just like that. Now, inside of the quotation mark, I can put whatever text I want the string to have. So we could say like Draft Academy. And so now we have a string with the text.
Oops, sorry. Here, this is this is what we wrote last time. It was about a short story and how we can edit some stuff. So I bet we can just delete all of that. Now we're gonna go for print, quotation mark, Alex's, I don't know, class. Oh, sorry. What did I do? Okay, here.
Draft Academy inside of it. So if I run my program, now down here we're going to print out Draft Academy, as you can see. And when we have these strings, there's actually a bunch of cool things that we can do with them. So one thing I could do would be to create a new line inside of the string. So if I wanted, I could come over here and I could say \n, and you can see it got highlighted in a different color. And what this is going to do is it's actually going to insert a new line into the string. So now it's going to say draft on one line and academy on another line.
Oh.
So I'm going to click play, and you'll see down here.
Okay. So here, right? Right. Oh, first we're going to delete this and then... No, the backwards one. How we can do the backwards one? Nope. Yeah, and n. Right, and then Alex is. Oh yeah, cool. It worked.
We just get Draft Academy.
Okay.
In addition to the \n, I could also use a / quotation mark. So if I wanted to put a quotation mark inside of my string, I can't just put a quotation mark like that. Okay. Because Python's going to think that I'm trying to end this string. So if I want to include a quotation mark, I can just use this special / character. And that's called the escape character. And it basically just tells Python that whatever character comes after it, we want to render literally. So when I say / quotation mark, it basically means like, hey, Python, I want to print out a quotation mark. And so now we'll be able to print out a quotation mark right there. I can also use this to print out a \. So if I needed to print out a \, I could say \, and it'll just print out a normal \ now. So
okay, let me try this really quickly. So instead of the n, it's quotation mark, right? Cool. And if it's only \, it's normal \. Cool.
Just like that. So got that. If you want, you can use that \ to make new lines or print out quotation marks, or you can just use it as a normal \.
Okay.
In addition to just typing out a string here, I could also create a string variable. So I could come down up here and we can create a variable, and we'll just call it phrase. and I'm going to set it equal to Draft Academy. So I can store this string of
like what we did last time, right? So first of all, wait. What I like to do, what I love to do, or this is at least how I love to learn, is to go step by step. I don't like to take all the information at once and then I'm gonna probably forget about most of them. So I just love to go, oh, what was that? Anyway, phrase equal Alex's classes or class. Okay.
value inside of a variable called phrase.
Yeah.
And then when I want to print out that variable, or I want to access that string variable,
Right.
I can just
so
type
in the
name
future we
of
can change it
variable.
very easily, especially
And
if we
you'll see
have
that it's gonna print
long lines or too many lines. So here, do we put it? Yes, we need to put it between these things, and we do that, and we write phrase. Oh, sorry. Phrase, right? No. Right? I misspelled it here, right? Okay, wait, phrase with E, and then here, phrase with E, cool. And then we're gonna run. Dude, what did I do wrong? It's literally the same. Okay, let me. Sorry. It's not working. What if I print phrase? Oh. My bad, I'm so sorry. My bad. My writing skills are not the best. I admit that. Okay, found
the
it.
value
Sorry.
that was stored inside of it. I can also use something called concatenation. And concatenation is basically the process of taking a string and appending another string onto it.
Sorry guys, but in case you didn't notice it, English is not my first language, so that makes it a little bit harder for me. If English is your first language, definitely things are gonna be a little bit easier, much more easier, depends. But yeah, just if you speak English fluently, or like better than me at least, things are gonna be easier for you.
So I could come over here and I could say phrase, and I could say plus, and now I can add in another string. So I could say like is cool. And now this is gonna say Draft Academy is cool. So I'm basically appending another string.
But why do we need this? For me it feels a bit complicated. Is amazing. But why it's quotation mark, quotation. Okay, cool. This is how we learn. Cool. Yeah. But how are we gonna use this in real life?
We call that concatenation.
In like real
programming. So in addition to
programming.
doing all that stuff, we can also use special things called functions. And a function is basically just a little block of code that we can run, and it'll perform a specific operation for us. So we can use functions to modify our strings, and we can also use functions to get information about our strings.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you guys a couple common functions we can use with these strings, and they're actually going to do awesome stuff. So in order to access one of these functions, I can just say phrase, and then I can say dot. And I'm going to show you guys a function that we can use to convert this string entirely into lowercase. So I could just say phrase.lower, and then I'm going to want to type in open and close parentheses. And this will take this phrase, it'll take my string, and it'll convert it to lowercase. So you can see now we just...
Let's try this. So we're gonna delete that, right? And then dot lower. Cool. Oh, okay.
Have Draft Academy down
Let's
here,
see.
but it's entirely in lowercase.
Yes.
I could also do the same thing for uppercase. So I could say phrase.upper, and this will convert the entire string to uppercase. So you can see now it's entirely uppercase. So in addition to...
Wait. Dude. Didn't work. Right? Oh, double P. Sorry, again. Okay. Here. Yeah.
Converting the string into uppercase and lowercase, I could also check to see if a string is entirely uppercase or entirely lowercase. So for example, I could say phrase.isUpper, and this is going to give me back a true or a false value. So it's going to be true if the string is entirely uppercase, or false if it's not. And you can see here we're getting a false value because
if the original one is all uppercase or not. So if we wrote here is the same, don't change anything else, false. Interesting.
This is in uppercase. I can also use these functions in combination with each other. So for example, I could say phrase.upper and then a parentheses, and then after this I could say .isUpper. And now what it's going to do is it's going to run this upper function. It's going to convert it into uppercase, and then it's going to run this isUpper function right after that, and you'll see now we're going to get a true value back because it will have converted the whole thing into uppercase. So you can see now we're getting a true value.
But it didn't convert, right? Did it? Let's try that. Phrase upper. No, wait. Yeah. Yes. And then dot, another dot. Okay. True. Okay.
So you can use these functions one after another. It can be really useful. And there's a few other ones that I want to show you. So we can also figure out the length of this string. So if I wanted to figure out how many characters were inside of this string, I could just say len, and I'm actually going to make an open parentheses, and I'm going to make a close parentheses. So I'm essentially saying len, and this is another function. It's the length function. And inside of this len function, I'm actually passing this phrase variable. I'm basically giving the length function this, and it's going to spit out a number. So it'll tell me how many characters are inside of this string. And so you can see.
So, okay, we're going to delete all of that now. No, wait. We're going to delete all of this here, and then len open, sorry, open, no, here, nope, here, nope. And then we need another one, right? 11. Dude, this is cool.
Here we get 15 because there's 15 characters inside of Draft Academy.
Right.
So that's how we can get the length of a string, and that's going to be really useful as we go forward in Python. We can also get individual characters inside of a string. So imagine if I wanted to just grab one of these characters. Like imagine if I wanted to figure out what the first character in this string is. Well, I can actually use an open and closed square bracket just like that. And in here, I can specify the index of the character that I want to grab. So if I wanted to grab the first character in this string, I can put in a 0. So if I say phrase square bracket 0, this is going to give me that capital G. And you can see down here.
So let's delete. Let's delete this, and then let's delete that. And then, did he put it? Oh, right. I think this one, no, this one. Let's say 3. 1, 2, 3. X. It's supposed to be E, no?
Bracket 0, this is going to give me that capital G. And you
Oh,
can see down
okay.
here,
The first
that's what
letter is
gives
number
me that.
0.
Now, I want to point something
Okay.
out. In
I got it.
Python, when we're working with strings, a
Yeah.
string gets indexed starting with 0. So you'll notice that in order to access this G, I had to put a 0 in here.
Okay.
That's because in Python, when we use indexes on a string, we start with 0. So if Python is counting the characters or it's indexing the characters in a string, it's going to start with 0. So it's going to say G is 0, I is 1, R is 2, A
I
is
see.
3.
Makes
So we would say
sense.
that
Doesn't make
G
sense.
is at position 0 in the string,
Doesn't make sense.
I is at position 1, R is at position 2, A is at position 3, etc. So we start counting at 0. So if I wanted to access the first character in the string, this G, I have to say phrase 0. And that's just a special thing in Python, and actually most programming languages do that. So they'll start with 0. So for example, if I wanted to access this A, I'm going to have to put...
By the way, how many programming languages do we have? Let's see. How many programming languages are there? What? What? 700 programming languages? What? Are you kidding me? What are the 4 types of programming languages? The 4 types of programming languages that are classified are 700. 700. What? I don't want to even think about it right now.
0, 1, 2, 3. So if I put 3 inside of here, now we'll be able to access that first A. As you can see, we get an A right here. So this is...
My question is, why would you need that instead of just looking at it? Why do you need to write it down? Just look at the whatever you wrote and then you're gonna find it out. Isn't that literally easier for
actually
you?
really useful being able to grab a specific character inside of a string, and you're going to be using that a lot as we go forward in Python. There's also another really awesome function that we can use, and it's called the index function. And basically what the index function will do is it'll tell us where a specific character or string is located inside of our string. So I could say phrase.index, and I can actually give this a value. So sometimes when we use these functions in Python, we can actually give them information. So I can give this a value. And we would call this passing a parameter. So I would call a value that I would give to a function a parameter. And you'll hear that word a lot. So for example, I could say inside of here, capital G. And now this is going to return the index of the capital G inside of our string. So it should give us back a 0 because G is at the 0th index. And you'll see down here that we get a 0 because that's where G is.
Okay. Dot index and I don't know, 5. No, not 5, sorry. C. Let's see. Y. It needs to be between quotation mark. Okay, here and sorry, my bad. Here, C. Does it need to be capital? Number 6. What if we put it small? Would it? Okay, it needs to be capital as it is exactly. Okay.
So for example, if I put an A inside of here, like a lowercase a, it should give me 0, 1, 2, 3, because that's where the first A is inside of this string. So I can click the play button, and you'll see it's giving
I
up.
wonder what if I put S. There are 2 S's here. 9. The first one is 9. 0, 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The second one is 9. Interesting.
Plus a 3. You can also put actual words in here. So for example, I could put like academy in here, or I could even just put like ACAD, and this is going to tell me where this starts inside of my string. So when I click play, it's going to give me an 8 because that's where academy starts, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I put something in here that wasn't in the string, so for example, if I put a Z in here.
Wait. What class? Alex's class. Okay. Why it's not working? Dude. It is exactly not found. What about CL? Oh, dude, capital letters, small letters. You need to know the difference.
That's not in here. It's actually going to throw an error. So when I play this, you'll see that we get this error down here because Z is not found inside of our program. So that index function, again, can be really useful, and we'll be using that a lot. There's also one more that I want to show you, which is called replace. So we can say phrase.replace. And in here, I can actually give this 2 parameters. So I can give this replace function 2 values that it can use. And the first thing I want to give it is what I want to replace. So for example, I could say draft, and then I'm going to put a comma in here, and I want to put in here what I want to replace draft with. So I could just say like elephant, and now instead of saying Draft Academy, this is going to print out Elephant Academy. So you can see down
here. Wait, let me do that. So here, right? Let's just delete all of that. Replace, and then quotation mark. Let's say class, and then comma, and then quotation mark. Let's say cat. Please work. It didn't work. Dude. Did it work? Okay. It didn't work. Why? Because there is no class with small letter, there is class with capital. Oh my god. Here we go. Here we go. And here. Cool. Capital letter, small letter.
Instead of saying Draft Academy, this is going to print out Elephant Academy. So you can see down here, it just says Elephant Academy. So this replace function can be really awesome because we can replace certain words or even certain letters inside of our strings with other ones. So those are just some basic ways that we can work with strings inside of Python. And there's a lot of these different functions that we can use with strings. These are some of the most common, the ones that I just showed you right now. But if you just do a Google search, you can find all sorts of Python functions that you can try out and use.
Let's see. Python functions. Let's, list. Functions list, all of it. 15 functions you should know, Modulus in Python. Let's see. Just to take a quick look, I'm not going to memorize all of them now, but sort, type, append, extend, index, max, min, len, length. Yeah, we learned this. We learned index, we learned clear, no. Okay, insert, count, pop, remove, reverse, copy. Interesting. Okay. Let's continue.
Use and see what they do. But you definitely want to get comfortable working with strings in Python because you're going to be working with them a lot.
Working with numbers. Okay.
In this tutorial, I want to talk to you about working with numbers in Python. Now, numbers are one of the most common data types in Python, and any Python program you write is most likely going to be dealing with numbers at some point. So I want to talk to you guys about just the basics of using numbers. We're going to talk about the different types of numbers that we can represent in Python. And I also want to show you guys some awesome functions that we can use with numbers. So we can do certain like mathematical operations. We can do some awesome things with numbers. And I'm going to show you guys all of that in this video. It's going to be awesome. So
thank you.
First thing we can do is we can actually just like print out a number. So if I want to write a number in Python, it's really easy.
Wait. Now here. Control A, delete. Let's see.
Just write the number. So I could say like print 2, and this is just going to print the number 2 out onto the.
Okay, print 2. Nope, sorry. Yeah. Cool.
Screen. So I can use a whole number like this. I could also use a decimal number. So I could say like 2.0987. And Python's going to be just fine with that. We'll be able to print that out onto the screen as well.
Okay.
I can also make numbers negative. So I could make this 2.0987 a negative number, and Python will be able to handle that just fine too. In Python, we can also use basic arithmetic. So I could do things like addition, subtraction, multiplication. So I could say like 3 plus 4. And now this is going to print this out. Or why don't we say like 3 plus 4.5. And this will be able to print out the answer, so we get 7.
Okay, yeah. Let's try this one. I'm sorry, but I love to try everything. So I don't. 2 plus 5 equal 7. Cool.
7.5. And we can do addition, we could do subtraction, we could do division, or we could do like multiplication as well. So you can pretty much do whatever you want inside of Python. And if you want to make more complex mathematical equations, we can also use things to specify order of operations. So I could use parentheses. So for example, if I said 3 times 4 plus 5, what Python's going to do is it's going to multiply 3 and 4 together. So it's going to be 12, and then
Basic
we'll add
math,
5
yeah,
to that.
definitely.
So we should get 17. But let's say that we wanted to change up the order, right? I could actually put a parentheses around 4 and 5.
Again,
and now it's going to add them first,
yeah.
so it'll add 4 and 5, so we'll get 9, and we'll multiply that times 3, so we should end up with 27. So you can see we can use those parentheses to specify order of operations. So I could make like a very complex little equation here just by using numbers and parentheses.
Okay.
We can also use one other operation, which is called the modulus operator. So I could say like 10 and use this percent sign 3.
Wait, where's the percent sign? Say 20. Oh, no. Oh, here. Yeah. 5. 0.
And this is actually read 10 mod 3. And basically what this is going to do is it's going to take the first number, divide it by the second number, and it's going to spit out the remainder. So it's basically going to say, okay, 10 divided by 3, that's going to be 3 with a remainder of 1. And so this is going to give us the remainder. And you'll see down here we get 1.
Oh, what if we put 2? Dude, 3, sorry.
1 because that's the remainder of 10 divided by 3. And that modulus operator can come in handy quite a bit. We can also store these numbers inside of variables. So we can store them inside of these variable containers. So I could come over here and I could create a variable called like my_num, and we'll just store a value of, let's say like 5 in here. And so I could come down here and I can just print out my_num, and we'll be able to print that.
Wait. X equal 5 and y equals 2. Okay, and then now let's see, x plus or minus y. 3. Cool. Wow, that was easy.
Number out to the screen just fine. So in addition to doing things like a basic arithmetic, we can also do some other stuff. So one thing I could do is I could actually convert this number into a string. So if I wanted to convert this number into a string, I can just say str, and I can put the number that I want to convert inside of these parentheses. And so what's going to happen now is this number is going to be converted into a string. So when I click the run button, you'll see it's just printing out 5, but now instead of being a number, this is actually a string.
What do you mean a string? Sorry. Print str and then what? Here, 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 and x, and then here. How is this different than this? Print x. It's the same, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. Since it's the same, why do I need to put str or string or whatever? Right?
And this is going to come in handy when you want to print out numbers alongside strings. So I can come over here and I can say like my favorite number, and we'll be able to print this number along with this string. So I can click play and it says 5, my favorite number.
Wait, what if we did this? I understand what he's saying, but oh, sorry. What if we did this? X plus my lucky number, for example. Because I know, then, no, sorry, here, no, here, okay, again, I know how to fix that also, here, I don't understand, dude, there's must be something wrong.
If I was to get rid of this string right here and I wasn't converting the number into a string,
yeah,
now Python's going to have a problem with this. It's not going to allow us to do that. You can see we get an error. So anytime you want to print out a number next to a string, you got to make sure that you use that little string function. So
okay, I'll follow your lead. So string x plus, no, sorry, just quotation mark, my lucky blah blah blah. It did not work because there's two things. Okay, it did not work again.
So there's a bunch of other stuff that we got to make sure we get an error. So anytime you want to print out a
Why it's not working? It's exactly as what he said. Let's go back and see how it goes.
You want to print out numbers alongside strings. So I can
Okay, this needs to be just, and then we need here space. No, not here, sorry. Control Z. We need here space. Okay.
Over here and it says, and I wasn't converting the number into that. You can see we get an error. So anytime you want to print out a number next to a string, you got to make sure that you use that little string function. So there's a bunch of other stuff that we can do with numbers, and a lot of times in Python you're going to want to be using specific like more advanced math operators. So there's a bunch of different math functions that we can use on our numbers. And a function is basically just like a little collection of code that does something. So a function could perform an operation like a mathematical operation on our number. It could also give us information about our number. So I'm going to show you guys some of the most common functions that you'll be using in Python related to numbers. The first one is called ABS, and it stands for absolute value. So we can get the absolute value of a number. And so over here, I'm just going to make this variable -5. And basically, I can just say ABS, and I can make an open and close parentheses over here. And this is going to give me the absolute value.
Let's delete this. ABS, right? Then
value of this number up here. So when I click the play button, you'll see it's just giving us 5 because 5 is the absolute value of -5.
Okay.
I can use a few other functions. There's another one which is called POW. It's just POW. And I'm actually not going to use this variable. We just use a normal number. And this function is going to allow us to pass it 2 pieces of information. So I can give this function 2 pieces of information. The first is going to be like a number, and the second is going to be the power that I want to take that number to. So I could say like 3, 2, and this is basically just going to be 3 raised to the power of 2. So it's just going to be 3 squared. So we should get.
So there's always another way to do stuff, right? It's not just like one way to do things. So we can write down different kind of things. Power 3, 2, as you said, sir, it's 9.
9 down here.
Correct.
You can see that we do. So I could pass in like, you know, some crazy number, like we could pass in a 4 and we could raise it to the power of 6. And so we should get like a pretty big number here. And you can see we get 4,096. So this POW function is really useful for taking numbers to specific powers. So in addition to using this POW function, we can also use another function which is called max. So I can say max, and what this is going to do is it's basically going to return the larger of the 2 numbers that we pass into it. So right now I'm giving this a 4 and a 6, and this should tell us which number is higher. So over here, it's just printing out 6 because that's the bigger.
So let me type different kind of numbers and then change this to max. Let's see, 8. Correct.
Number. I can also use another function called min, and this is going to do the opposite. So now instead of printing out the max number, it's going to print out the smallest number, and it's going to print out 4 down here, as you can see. Another cool function is called the round function, and this is going to allow us to round a number. So it's just going to follow like standard rounding rules. So if I said like 3.2 inside of here, now it's going to round it down to just normal 3. But if I said like 3.7, it's going to round it up to 4. So that'll allow you to round a number. So there's a few other functions that I want to show you guys, but in order to get access to them, I'm actually going to have to do something called importing. And in Python, we can actually import external code into our files. And so if I want to access these specific math functions, I have to import something called Python math. So I can just say from up here, math, import, and this star. And basically what this is going to do is it's going to go out and it's going to grab a bunch of different math functions that we can use. So I already showed you guys a few of these different math functions, but there's actually a bunch more. And in order to access them, we're going to need to include this line of code inside of our file. So once we have that, now I can access.
It's from the thing that we downloaded, right? From math import. Okay. Let's go here from math import, and then the star. Was it the star? I don't know, where is the star? Here. I literally have no idea where the star is. Here, no. Here, no. Here. Here. No. 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 Where is the star? Here, 8, number 8. From, oh, here, okay, cool.
Few others. So there's another function which is called the floor method, and it's just floor. And what this will do is it'll basically just grab the lowest number. So it's essentially just going to chop off this decimal point. And you can see over here now.
Let's see. Change this to 6.9 and floor. Okay. It works.
We get a 3 because we're using that floor function. There's also another one called seal, and that's just going to do the exact opposite. So that's just going to round the number up no matter what. So no matter what, we'll always get 4 if we have a 3 point whatever here. And there's another one which is called square root. So it's just SQRT. And essentially this is just going to return the square root of a number. So I could say like 36. And now we should get 6 back. So those are all some very interesting functions. And inside of this math module, so we would call this a module. And you don't have to worry too much about what that is right now. Just know that when we put this line of code into our program, it gives us access to a lot more math functions. So it basically allows us to do a lot more things with math inside of our program.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of different math functions in Python. And if you want, you can basically just go online and search for different math functions. I showed you guys a few here, and I would say the ones that we looked at here are probably the most commonly used, but there's a bunch more. And like I said, there's tons of documentation on all of this stuff. So you can just look up, math functions in Python, and there's going to be tons and tons, like lists of these things that you can use inside of your programs to perform different math operations. But for now, that's just been a little bit about using numbers, a little bit about doing, certain math operations and using functions with those numbers.
Getting input from users. I don't know what that means, but the thing is, like last week maybe, I tried to just go for like 1 hour video on YouTube to learn HTML, or at least the basics. Dude, it was much easier than this. This is like so complicated so far, because HTML is like, I don't know, put this image and then put this paragraph or whatever, and then boom, you have your website. But by the way, speaking of, we are going to also, this video, after we finish this, the one that we're currently going through, after that we're going programming with Mosh to that, with Mosh. We're going to that channel, and we're gonna watch this 6 hours course for beginners, Python for beginners. I like this dude. It's just like so easygoing, and you can understand immediately what is he talking about. Anywho,
in this tutorial, I'm going to show you.
This is not a advertisement for anyone. It's just personal experience.
How to get input from a user. So we're basically going to allow a user to input information into our program. And I'm actually going to take the information that the user inputs, I'm going to store it inside of a variable, and then we're going to be able to do something with that variable. So I want to show you guys how we can actually go about getting input from someone. And down here in my Python file, all I have to do to get input from someone is I just have to type out input and then an open and closed parentheses. And what this is basically going to do is it's going to tell Python like, hey, we want to get input from a user, and Python will allow the user to type in some information. And inside of these parentheses, we can actually type a prompt. And so generally when we want the user to enter in some information, we want to tell them what we want them to enter. And that's what we can put inside of here. So I'm just going to say, enter your name. So we're actually going to create a little Python app which is going to allow the user to enter in their name, and then we'll store the name inside of a variable, and then we'll basically just say hi to the user. So we'll say like hi, and then whatever the name they entered was. So what I want to do is I actually want to store whatever the user inputted into our program inside of a variable. So I can actually go over here and I can create a variable. I could just call it name, and I could set this variable equal to input. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking the value that the user inputs and I'm storing it inside of this variable container called name.
Wait, let me get this straight. Here, delete, let's start from the beginning. Input, and then, what did he say? Oh, enter your name, sorry, okay. Your name. And then you go as he did, name equals name. Dude, just equals. Okay.
And so now I have access to whatever they entered in. So what we can do is we can say print, and inside of the parentheses I can just print out hello, and then I'm just going to add on to this name.
I see. So if you put Alex, it's gonna be hello Alex. If you put like, I don't know, Sarah, is gonna be hello Sarah, and so on. Let's see. Print hello plus, okay, print hello, and then plus name, right?
And actually, why don't we put an exclamation point? So essentially, we're getting a name.
Wait. Plus, oh, sorry. Plus, okay. We got it.
From the user. We're storing it inside of the name variable, and I'm printing it out onto the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. And when we run the program, you'll notice down here, Python is giving us this little prompt. So it's saying, enter your name. And now in here, I can actually type in a value. So I can type in Mike.
Oh, wait. You can do that. Alex, okay.
And then I can just hit enter. And Python's gonna go ahead, store this value inside of that variable. And then it's gonna print out hello Mike. And so this is kind of cool. And actually what we could do is we could prompt the user to enter in more than one piece of information. So I could actually copy this line of code, and I'm gonna paste it below here. And why don't we have the user enter in another variable? So we could have them enter in, for example, their age. And over here we just
okay. Copy. Paste, and then we change. Oh, sorry. No. This one is age. Input your age.
I want to say enter your age. And so now we're able to get two pieces of information from the user.
Oh, sorry.
And I can say hello name, and then I can say you are, and I'll print out their age. So I'm just going to print age.
You are, and then, no, wait, what are we doing right now? Age, cool, right?
Age. So now I'm basically able to get both of these pieces of information from the user.
So let's delete this for now. I can't delete it, really? Your name.
I can get their name and I can get their age. So when we run this program, I can type in both of those pieces of information. So it'll say enter your name. So we could just make up a name like John and then enter.
Oh, I need to enter this first. Let's see, Alex. Enter age, 28.
The age, let's say John is 25. And now it's going to say hello.
I see. Boom. Hello, Alex. You are. But I need a space. So should be space here, right? Let's see. Name again. Alex. 28. Boom. We got it.
Hello, John. You are 25. So the program is able to get input from the user, and then it's able to use that information in order to say hi to the user and tell them how old they are. And so getting input from the user is a great way to make your programs more interactive. And here we're just scratching the surface, right? Yeah. We're just basically getting to, a piece of information from the user, but you can use these inputs to do awesome things in Python. And as we go through this course, you're going to see some really cool things that we can do with these inputs.
Okay, guys. Oh my god, this is too much for one day. Especially, this is the first day that I'm learning Python. Building a basic calculator. I think I'm going to leave this for tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. If you like the content, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. That would help me so much. And if you have any kind of advice, what to do, any channels to follow on YouTube, anything, just put them in the comments section below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.